Hello my loves, happy Saturday. Well, it's a beautiful sunny morning, impromptu video by me. I was kind of mulling over with my thoughts about what to bring through, and just watching my chicken on the lawn being antagonised by my two crows. It's a never-ending source of entertainment. They just wind each other up all morning long. Very amusing. And it's a little bit like what goes on in the main field, isn't it? Or what we're seeing and what we're witnessing in the outside world at the moment. The expansion of the I suppose the only way to describe it would be pressing of buttons, antagonism, distraction, and I'm kind of going deeper into my own personal process at the moment. I just wanted to reflect a little bit about this morning. Obviously, I'm not recording and uploading with the regularity that I was previously, and in all honesty, I miss it. I miss the commitment and the time and the ability that it gives me to actually rationalize and record and speak about the things that I'm sensing and seeing and feeling, and my interpretations of the world, both physical, metaphysical. She nearly got him then. And so today I want to talk about something that's been really big on my mind for quite a while now, and this is really, it's been compounded by my own personal experiences, my interactions. It's about our commitment to our ascension process and how that echoes through absolutely everything that we do. And with our commitment to this pathway, we've now reached the point where we are being asked by source, by God, by our higher selves, by our monads, by our teams of light, to really make our dedications, to really show and fix our energy into the creation and the outcome of what we wish to experience on this world. Now, we are all aware of the changes that are occurring, aren't we? We are seeing in hyper real time, in glorious technicolor, the collapsing or the breaking down, or the at the moment it's full-blown panic. It's the response, it's the knee-jerk response, it's the cornering of the animal. That we're and the response is to go through patterns and programs that have been previously used that might have been successful. So we're seeing kind of a rinse and repeat of the social media programs being placed out rapid fire. If you remember what happened at the beginning of 2020, and I have spoken about this before in my previous videos, but in 2020, when the world changed, and we all know what I'm talking about, is when I began to do my videos. In the beginning of March and April 2020, the world changed, and everybody was in a state of shock, regardless of how they perceived it, whether they perceived it for what it actually was, or whether they were actually terrified into silence. And it was at that point that many of us began to really question, how does this go? What role do we play in this? And during that period of time, we were allowed a period of settling in to decide which side of the fence that we were going to land upon, whether we were committing to the ascension pathway, or whether we needed more time to learn, grow and evolve, maybe wake up in the kind of confines of the 3D learning container. And that period of time is now up. Okay, the angelics are or the teams of light have really, they've changed their language. They've gone from being kind of a little bit more open-armed about it and like, yeah, you make your choices, you make your decisions, you form your reality, to if you are committing, then you commit. This is the year that you commit. You don't do 50%. Sorry. Even talking about this, because it's so prominent in my fields at the moment, it's bringing up my own resistances to it, my own blockages, and even my own fears with it. It's massive at the moment. And so when we are asked to fully commit, we are being asked to fully embody the sovereignty, the mastery, the groundedness, the alignment to God's will. And I don't mean that in a religious sense, I mean that in a sense where we are all on this pathway, all on this planet. We are all aware of a creator source of energy, and we know why we're here, or we've got a good idea or an inkling of why we're here. And so I began to notice the change in the language that was coming through to me in November last year. And Michael came in. I've seen various different versions of Archangel Michael over the years. He's been a solid, steadfast guide and friend of mine for a very, very long time. And so this version of Michael turned up, fully armoured, battle gear, ready to rock and roll. And again, these words, I've printed these words and I've spoken them many times. These are the words of Archangel Michael as they were channeled to me. Make no agreements, contracts, or seek platitudes with those that wish to control the world without love in their hearts. So I'll say that again without the stuttering. Make no agreements, contracts, or platitudes with those that seek to control the world without love in their hearts. Those are the exact words of him. So break that down. I've broken that down many times in whatever way is available to me. And it basically means that for those that are creating negativity, evil, darkness, shadow, control on our world, it is time that we stop any compliance or any kind of agreements with these people in any way whatsoever. And then I began to, this then causes conflict, doesn't it? Because it immediately puts us in a position where we are like, oh, okay, well, I can think these things, but how do I take action? What's my course of action? When we are being given it's almost like the orders via Archangel Michael to enact upon this, how far do we take it? And the answer that I'm getting continuously is all the way, basically. So just recently I've been kind of dipping my toes in the pond of, well, what would Jesus do? It's a question I like asking when I'm faced or presented with a conundrum, be it physical, be it energetic. What would Jesus do? What action would he take in this particular moment based on his training, his mission here on this planet, and the love that radiates from his heart? And in many occasions he would do exactly what you and I would do, or what we are prompted to do, but he would do the right thing. He would take the most difficult pathway because it was the right thing to do. Okay, so bearing that in mind, bearing these in mind, we then you come back to what Archangel Michael is saying. How do we really change this world, this system? We're all looking at the same things, aren't we? We're looking at the political realm, we're looking at education, we're looking at medicine, which isn't really medicine, is it? We're looking at the farming industry, the way that we feed ourselves, all of the other the banking system, like, we all know what Jesus thought of the banks back in the day. And like flip the odd table, I think we all feel inclined to do that now and then, don't they? So I'm just going to check where my chicken is. Sorry, I thought she'd vaulted the fence. So yeah, so we are looking now at a point in time where we are beginning, we're asked to make major changes. You know, what do we do with these? What do we do with these situations that we're being presented with? And the answer that has come to me recently is that we revert to natural law. We revert to the hermetic principles, the ideology and the knowledge and the sanctity that is held within the authority of the living human being. Who are you? Okay, ask yourself this question: who are you? And if you want the textbook answer, you are a soul representative of your monad. You are a highly trained being on a mission to change the world, or to be a fabric or part of the very intensive structural overhaul of our entire world as we move from 3D to 5D, which means removing ourselves from the old institutions, the old ways of being, the old thinking, the old connections, and installing, building and activating and living within these new structures. Sounds easy enough on paper. I mean, if we're all structural designers or we're engineers, or we could think all of these things and we could just literally write it into reality, it would be very simple, wouldn't it? Well, the answer is we are. Okay, we've been convinced over a very long period of time, aeons, incarnation after incarnation, that we have no power, we have no say-so, we have no strength, we must zip it for fear of retribution. And now we've kind of reached the phase where that's turned on its head, and the institutions and the oppressors are beginning to be the ones who are like the frightened rabbits in the headlights. But they're rabbits with teeth at the end of the day, and have the ability to kind of come out of their corner quite aggressively. So what energy do we use with that? This is another interesting one. Today, on this beautiful, currently sunny day in England, there's a massive gathering. Oh, I think it might be, I don't know whether it's just in London alone or whether it's in all of the cities in England, you know, like stand up, be heard, be seen. And I've never felt inclined to be part of that energy. Firstly, because quite often they can descend into chaos. Secondly, you're not always 100% sure about the voices that are representing the movement of freedom. And thirdly, we are not looking for a fight. Okay, like when we're looking for this transition, when we're moving from one frequency to another, we have this balance. We're being, if you look at how we're being asked to react, we're being asked to respond with anger, with aggression, with fear, with desperation, with, oh my God, you know, they're doing this, they're doing that now. And in actual fact, the way through this, the simplest passage from A to B, straight through the middle, okay, straight through the middle, not looking to the left, not looking to the right, not adhering to those potential false timelines that draw people in when they've become transfixed by their emotional state and drawn into it, but simply to disconnect. Okay, this is where I believe the key lies, is our disconnection from participating in the old reality. First of all, it starts with the spiritual diet, doesn't it? The, you know, what we fill our brains with, what we fill our bodies with, what we speak about on a daily basis. It's all right. I have to keep an eye on her at this time of year because she does go wandering off. So this is all important. It's the right beginnings. It's the fine tuning. It's the start of what we do. But then it goes into, it's okay thinking one thing, and then we have to take action. And action, this is becoming all important at the moment. when we speak of spiritual currency, we're talking about energy. Okay, so where your attention goes, your energy flows, the end result via your intention is where that energy winds up, and it either supports a picture that somebody else has created or it supports something that you are creating. At the moment, lots of people's energy and intention gets farmed into places that is being created by other people, and what we are training ourselves to do at the moment is to focus upon our own creations, but that requires our entire commitment. Okay, it requires us to be steadfast in our values, what we adhere to, what we are contracting to, what we are signing on paper, and what we are signing energetically. Now, the big thing that's come up for me recently is that it's very, very easy to moan and complain and bitch and gripe and whine about the terrible oppressors, the powers that were and everything. Then on Monday morning we fill out our forms, pay our bills and go about our business, which is funding their system. Okay, so the next phase is, if we really want to be serious about decommissioning this old system, this old way, then we stop funding it. Okay, this is what I'm getting at, and this has become really big for me over the last 2, 3, 4 years. We know where our money that we earn in physical goes to, don't we now? Okay, if we're honest about it, we know that it is not really being used for what it is said it is being used for. It is going into and lining the pockets of corporations, many in which are creating and basically perpetuating atrocities around the world. So my language might be a little bit candid this morning, but this is the reality of the matter. So what happens when millions of people step back from that and they say no? You have your answer. Game over, lights out, the table gets flipped. It reminds me of that movie that I used to watch with my boys when I was little, Ants. I suspect some of you might be aware of it, you know, and the grasshoppers always feared the day that the ants woke up and stopped bringing them food when they demanded it. That's where we are now. Okay, so this is my food for thought this morning. If we are going to be serious about what we are doing, then we en masse need to start thinking about how we interact energetically, verbally and financially with the system that is currently in place around the world. And the only power that these beings have is via contract. Okay, by saying you must do this or the consequences will be such. Who says at the end of the day? When we have power within love en masse, it's lights out. This whole process is now reaching a peak. It's reaching a point where we are being offered very little choice. Okay, it's almost like the daily grind. I suppose you would call it our survival as human beings. Kind of depends on it really, because there's only so much picking away at and plucking that you can do before something occurs. And here we are at the moment. What are you funding energetically? What are you funding financially? What are you signing? So when Archangel Michael said those words last year in November, he meant everything. Okay, if you know what you are doing, unfortunately, by the laws that we now live by universally, makes us karmically viable. Now that puts it into a different aspect altogether. When you are in alignment with God's law, with natural law, then you know how to act, and you know that anything outside of those boundaries is incorrect. So I'll leave that one with you. Okay, these are my musings from the garden today on a Saturday. I wasn't going to bring this video through, but I think this at this moment in time is particularly important, not just for myself, but for everyone who's bringing this new world together. The playground is changing. The sand pit is becoming. It's got different toys in it now. So, and speaking of different playgrounds and beings to work with, tomorrow night at 7:15, I am going to be doing my workshop with the elementals, working with the elementals, and this is, I think it's the 5th edition of Sunday Night Ascension Club, but it's a standalone event. Come along if you're feeling guided to do so. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be a proper power hour, and we're going to be fully connecting with the ascended elementals in their new energy. So love you all very much, from my heart to yours. I will see you soon, if not tomorrow night. Bye for now.